Thank you, Dean Johnson. Good afternoon, everyone. I would personally like to welcome you all to the 75th Quarter Quell Hunger Games!
Only the foodies wanted them.
Okay, my dream, it was realized. Let me try again. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I would personally like to welcome you all to the 2015 graduation ceremony of the School of Hotel Administration. Now, if you can't tell, I like humor. I like making people laugh because this is by far the largest crowd I have ever addressed. So I have two jokes for you. Whether you like them or not, I'll let you decide. Here's the first one. It's an old one. What is black and white and red all over? Newspaper, yes. Very good.
Newspaper.
Now,
Black and white, red all over?
is black, bleeds Cornell white and red, and has the honor of addressing all of you today at the 2015 graduation ceremony of the School of Hotel Administration.
Aaron Rouser.
Aaron Rouser, very good.
Now that I have all of you loosened up, and I'm a little looser, I would now like to take a sincere moment to recognize the acknowledgments of everyone who in any way contributed to all of us being here today. So I would first and foremost like to thank my family. My two siblings, Kelly and Colin. Without them, growing up on the south side of Chicago for the first 18 years of my life would not have been possible. They taught me how to be a studious academic, a dedicated musician, and an overall decent human being. Next, I would like to thank my grandparents and my parents for protecting me from those same two siblings, every now and again, but also for birthing me, for raising me, and for showing me that all of life's challenges are worth overcoming. Next, I must absolutely thank all of my friends who I grew up here with in the Chi, but also who I grew up here with on campus at Cornell. Notable mentions include, but are not limited to, my best friend, Shara Abedin, my Keatonites who I lived with, all of my brothers and sisters from PSP and MSMH, Miss Jacqueline Perkins, Austin Hulse, Jaslyn Gomez, Jerry Lavelle Coker, Curtis Fergus something, his full name just escapes me right now at the moment. But last and certainly not least, my roommate of 4 years, Mr. Moon Young Lee, who made it over here from his engineering graduation. Thank you very much. Now, I don't claim to be funnier, more intelligent, or sexier than any of those individuals. Well, with Mark, that last one is kind of, we go back and forth quite a bit. But life here would not have been possible without all of them. And I want to take a sincere moment to say thank you. In addition, I would also like to thank all of the Shaw and Cornell faculty and staff for all of your efforts, for helping getting us all here today. Thank you so very much. If they can help me find clarity in which directions that I want to take my life, in addition to helping me bounce back from a fall 2011 semester GPA of 1.445, then they can certainly move mountains. And I want to thank you so much for that. But finally, I must take a moment. There's a story here. I must take a moment to thank a very good friend of mine who I grew up with back home in Chicago. And her name is Mimi Lou. I met Mimi for the first time when we were 11 years old. We both attended a music conservatory called the Merit School of Music every Saturday, ever since we were 11 years old when we graduated from high school. Now, there's no greater torture or punishment for an 11-year-old Aaron than forcing him to go to school 6 days a week for 7 years. It was very rough. So friends that we could find and identify with were very few and far between and in short supply. So Mimi and I, we grew close, and I had the honor of going to the same high school as Mimi. We took AP courses together, and we performed on many different stages throughout all of Chicago together. I play piano, and she plays piano as well. But our relationship, it weathered many good days and bad days, and breakups and makeups, G-chats, phone calls, and everything else in between. I went to Cornell, and she, upon graduating, she attended the University of Illinois. But as is life, we gracefully walked our separate paths, which was not devoid of the occasional text message and phone call from time to time. On October 9th, 2013, as Mimi was leaving campus, she was walking back to her apartment in the middle of the afternoon. A pickup truck jumped the curb, running into Mimi, killing her instantly. I think about Mimi. I bask in the sadness that is her memory. Some mornings when I wake up, when I stare out into the blue sky, I see her in the clouds, and at times before I go to bed at night, I see her before I go to sleep. None of you here knew Mimi, but Mimi was a paragon of love, right? She loved very fiercely and passionately. She was the best piano player that I've ever heard, ever, by far. And she communicated with the world through her art form, through what she did. And I was very proud of her for that. There were countless times she turned down hanging out with me because she had an appointment with a set of ivory keys, and that hurt a little bit, being stood up for this inanimate object, but I wasn't mad. In fact, I envied her. I did, because she chose to communicate with the world and express with the world who she was through her art form. When I came here to Cornell 4 years ago, I did not know that love. I didn't have it. I'm gonna be real. I absolutely detested the fact that I was a Cornellian. I did not want to be a student of the School of Hotel Administration. Irreconcilable differences of my socioeconomic status and my race and ethnicity made integration into this then foreign environment difficult and at times impossible. I failed prelim after prelim, and as the days grew shorter and colder, I became colder. You know it's a problem when the first and only test that you pass, the first semester that you hear, is the swim test, okay? Now, I couldn't swim before coming to Cornell, so I consider that a huge accomplishment, but that in and of itself is a travesty. What all of my failures came back to at the end of the day was not that I didn't study or that I didn't know how to seek help, but rather I lived my every single day, day to day, devoid of love in all of my actions. And that is a place that I never, ever want to return to. I don't know about all of you, but life is scary. Living scares the crap out of me. And it does so because you never know if when you step outside in your front door, if you're gonna return at the end of the day. With every breath that you take, it could be your last. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone here. Now I'm gonna pump the brakes. If you think that I'm inviting all of you to live this life of reckless endangerment, where you do reckless things and laugh in the face of death every single day, I'm not doing that, okay? And graduates, I'm also not inviting all of us to black out every weekend, okay? I'm not doing that. It's not fun. This is personal experience talking. But also, I'm not saying take a crazy weekend trip to Vegas and blow your life savings on one fun, exciting weekend. Okay, also, no, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. That is not, it goes on Facebook, okay, and it's reflected in your bank account, all right? So don't do it, it's not sexy, don't do it. But instead, I'm asking all of us here to live a life of enduring meaning and outstanding love. And through time, I found that love. Through all of my work with the Intergroup Dialogue Project program here, I'm a 5-time co-facilitator of that course, and I worked to bringing historically at odds groups together. Through dialogue, through communication, I became an enemy of racism, sexism, heterosexism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, and classism, and it was frustrating. It was very, very difficult, but I loved it. I loved every single second of it. And with my classes as well, managerial communication, innovation and dynamic management, business computing, that was very, very, very difficult for me. Restaurant management, and I know that might be not as popular, but I loved that class. I did, because of the friends that I made, the relationships that were formed, and everything that I learned, okay? I was obtaining that love. I had the amazing opportunity to circumnavigate the world last year via the Semester at Sea program, and I did so with some of the most amazing people that I've ever met. And prior to that program, I had not set foot out of the United States. That is a privilege. It's amazing. Most importantly, I became a mentor to some of the most amazing, frustrating group of first years that I met this year. They're very kind, passionate, smart individuals in their own rights. And I was able to help change their lives because of my influence. And that is love. That is my definition of hospitality and service. Graduates, whether you are a Baker program student, an MMHer, or an undergraduate hotelie, what we all have in common is that we all have the capacity to love in everything that we do. To love one another, to love the choices that we make, the career paths, the options that we choose. Whether we're leaders, innovators, movers, or shakers. My call to action to everyone here right now in this stadium is to love yourself, love each other, and love what you do. Because life, it burns too passionately and fiercely for us to waste time doing anything else. If you want to go the grassroots route of entrepreneurship, please do so. If you want to ride a bicycle from Maine to Seattle, I highly encourage you to do that. But whatever it is you want to do it with a little bit of love in your heart. Because imagine, right, if all of us choosing to act and move and work with a little bit more charisma and enthusiasm and passion and love for what it is that we're doing, then my narrative of undue hardship won't be one that repeats itself here at Cornell or out there in the real world. Now, call me an idealist, call me naive, that's okay. That is totally fine. But I know if we all try for that utopia that we might reach someday, if I try for that, then I know that I can face me in the next life with no regrets whatsoever. So with that said, graduates of the class of 2015, congratulations on making it this far. We have a long road ahead and a lot of work to do, so let's get to work. Thank you.